Boy, this is a deep procedural show, isn't it?
It is. And I love the fact that you use the word procedural because we do take viewers through a lot of the investigation that happens in these cases. We chose cases this season that had a deeper level of investigation because the perpetrator wasn't apprehended right away. So we show how the witness interviews were conducted. You get to see a lot of those interviews from the tapes from police headquarters, and people get to make a decision right there while watching the show. Do they believe this person? Are they telling the truth? Are they lying? And we take them through those types of elements in the investigation, and people watch and tune in and make some decisions for themselves before, in the end, we reveal who the perpetrator of the crime actually was.
And it's interesting because we as an audience have a tendency to jump to a conclusion where the police cannot do that, even though they want to. They have to connect all the dots, and that's what takes so long.
Right. And, as an investigator, a lot of times early on, you'll have a hunch,
Hmm.
but a hunch does not mean a conviction in a court of law. There's the standard called proof beyond a reasonable doubt, and that's what you have to work towards. So in these cases where you have the element of this intimate relationship, these relationships that are built on love and trust, a lot of times you talk to the people in the immediate circle immediately just because they know the victim, they know them well, they know them the most. And then when you start talking to them, you start having those conversations, that's when you start putting the pieces together as to what really happened, who's telling the truth, who has something to hide, who has something to gain from this person dying, who has something to lose, and you start putting your investigation together with that information.
Now, you've sat on both sides of the courtroom. You've been a judge and you've also, been an attorney. Does anything surprise you anymore?
Yes, people still surprise me. The decisions that people make, they still surprise me. You'll hear and see from the premiere episode in our series, family and friends were shocked when they found out that this person was involved in the crime. And in the beginning, they rallied for this person because they said he could never do such a thing. They could never do such a thing. So, but when we get inside of the human mind, you never know what people are thinking. You never know what can cause someone to snap. What is it? And that's what we look at. What causes people to snap? What causes them to make these decisions that are seemingly out of character for them because they've never so much as even had a traffic ticket. And now they're committing the most unimaginable act. So there's always something that shocks me and surprises me because people are people and they make and do crazy things a lot of times.
Which is what's really interesting about your show is the fact that you do talk with the neighbors and the friends and all of that to kind of get the baseline, if you will, of how all this happened or what's leading up to this problem. Then you show us, when somebody snapped.
Yes, and that's, I think, one of the things that's intriguing about the show is when we interview the family, friends, and neighbors, they know not only the victim, but they also know the perpetrator. So you're getting people from the very beginning who had relationships with both of the people because of their relationship, their close relationship. So that's a unique aspect of it. You get to hear the when the times were good between, if it's a couple, when the times were great, when the times were good, how they started a family, how they built a family. And then you get to hear in the end when the worst thing imaginable happened to these families, how they were torn apart and what they think about the perpetrator when they find out that it's also someone that they knew and loved and had a relationship with.
But it's also a really wonderful psychological study on how people deal with, their problems, and they feel like there's no way out, so they have to, lash out.
And it's important. It's important because when you look at these cases to know, what are the patterns? What are the signs? Are there any red flags? You have some people who just snap and people didn't see it coming, but then you have others where you have family members, I noticed something. I thought something was off. I wish I would have said something. I wish I would have spoken up sooner. And so we dig into that a little bit, and people watch because they want to see, well, what should I be looking out for? Are there signs, or are there things that I should be aware of? And this is the kind of series where you can watch and sort of take note from that and make some decisions, and you learn about people's decisions, and you see also the consequences from those decisions.
Yeah, and Oxygen is doing a great job in promoting you. You've got on Saturdays should belong to you, which is really nice.
Yes, it's been the growth from the series. It's in its third season now, and of course, Oxygen has their big flagship shows like Snapped that's been on for so many years, and Cold Justice. But Killer Relationship is right up there now because people relate to relationships. We all have them. We all understand the ins and outs and the ups and downs that come with relationships. And so I think in a way, people connect with the show in that way.
Faith, it's always good to talk with you. It's great to catch up on this new series. Well, the third season of this new series, and
Yes.
chat with you. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.